From LALATE News Headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
Good morning, everybody. It's a huge, great morning. I'm so glad you're here. I have big updates for you about your fourth stimulus check and your fourth stimulus package. That's that monthly stimulus check that starts to pay in the month of July and pays every month thereafter. I have big updates about your fourth stimulus check in this recording. Then we cut to the fifth stimulus package, and that fifth stimulus package is the one that's going to change your SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and Veterans benefits and SSA and raise them up to a big new number. I have big updates about the fifth stimulus package and what the president said and didn't say last night. Also, then I'm going to cut back to third stimulus and the big money that's coming to you in the next few weeks. Is it automatic? Is it not automatic? Do you have to do something to get it, or do you not? It's a great morning. The toast is toasted. The butter is buttering. It's a big Mornings LA broadcast. I'm really excited you're here. All I wish we had was a little bit more bacon. And let's get to it with big updates about your fourth stimulus check, your fifth stimulus check, and your third stimulus check in this recording. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm so excited you to join me. This is LALATE, and this is Mornings LALATE with the biggest and most comprehensive financial news coverage you're going to see throughout the day. And thank you for joining me on a big morning. I'll be covering your fourth stimulus check, those monthly stimulus checks that go from July to December, the fifth stimulus package that pays you money starting this fall, and the unpaid items from third stimulus that are starting to be paid out. I'll explain those and make them easy breezy and give you the latest breaking economic data that came out minutes ago. How are you? If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We just turned 1 year old, this channel, and with 1 year and a few days, boy, we're almost at 400,000 subscribers. So let's get there. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes. It really helps in the algorithm ranking. And if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. All right, let's get to the breaking news. First, the fourth stimulus check and fourth stimulus package is going to the finish line. What is the fourth stimulus check and fourth stimulus package, and what's the fifth one? The fourth stimulus package is the American Jobs Plan. It will start in May and end in July and start paying out in July. The fifth stimulus package is the American Family Plan, which is in September, and will finish around November and start paying out in November. And then the third stimulus package is the one that was already passed just a few weeks ago, but some of the items are still coming in the next few weeks. All right, let's start with the fourth stimulus check and fourth stimulus package. Here are things that you need to know to start the new day. First, the President of the United States is head of the executive branch as the president. He doesn't write bills. So last night he talked about things but didn't talk about things. Why? As I told you, he's not going to give you the stimulus checks. The senators and the House members who are Democrats have already said they're giving you the stimulus checks, not the president, because they write the bill, not him. Second, the way they do this is by a reconciliation process. What's a reconciliation process? It's a process in which you don't need any Republicans to support the bill. And it's a 2-month process with 2 steps to it. First step is they agree to procedurally do a reconciliation. They call for a vote on the House floor, approved. Off to the Senate, approved. Signed by the president, approved. At that point, the tow truck has passed over the finish line. Time to go back and do the second bill of a reconciliation process. Yeah, it's a 2-step process. And at that point, they have to agree to what to put onto the tow hitch that goes behind the tow truck. At that point, they start to add everything you heard last night from the President of the United States for fourth stimulus. He wants water and infrastructure and climate. They put that in there, but they also put in what they want. That's stimulus checks. Those monthly stimulus checks would start in the month of July, but they differ if we're looking at the House members versus the Senate members. And let's compare what they could potentially give you. The House members would give you a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. So they've written actually in documents that they want those stimulus checks to go for the remainder of the pandemic, which could be 6 more months, plus an additional year, which would be 18 months of checks. The senators want those stimulus checks to go from now till December. Who are these movers and shakers? The Democrats in the House are more progressive and in the Senate are more moderate. And then let's look at the monthly check. The House members have written that the checks under the fourth stimulus package would be $1,000 after the first month of $2,000. The senators, the amount is unknown, but word on the street is it looks like this. $2,000 a month over 6 months is $12,000. That's what those senators want to give you. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, which is $8,400. That's what those senators want to give you. Word on the street is this is the money that you would see. Who gets this money? How does it go out? How do you get it? Who doesn't get it? What are the qualifications? And how do you physically receive it? I'm going to go over all that right now. First, what is the eligibility? The same as the third stimulus check. So if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security Reliable Benefits, you would get this. If you make less than $75,000 a year, you would get this. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you would get this times 2. Household 4 or less, you would get this times 4. Very easy breezy. Second, when? You would get this in the month of July and of every month thereafter. Third, when would you physically get it, and would it come in waves? It would not come in waves because this is a monthly check, so they can't do it in waves. They have to literally get it dropping month after month on a particular day. When would the vote be? No later than July 4th, says Leader Schumer and Speaker Pelosi. When would they start this? May. It's a 2-month process of reconciliation. And you would literally see the decision about the stimulus check potentially in the last 48 hours of that 2-month process, when the bill gets to the Senate floor during what's called a Senate vote-a-rama. During the Senate vote-a-rama, they introduce amendments. Those amendments could have minimum wage, dyeing your hair purple, but also stimulus checks. Now, the senators may be preempted by the House members, and they may put the stimulus checks in there when they have the bill before they send it off to the Senate. Make it easier. And ultimately, the senators have the final say to increase it, decrease it. But the senator's determination slides in on the final 2 days before it's signed into law in July. You would get those stimulus checks every month and continue thereafter. Is it income? No. Is it taxable? No. Does it disqualify you for benefits? No. Why is this amount so much bigger than 2020? Yes. So now what you need to understand is that you're going to see over the course of today's recording, and certainly this recording, that this is 2021. It's a different administration, and you're going to see the president last night and throughout the next few months is looking to spend $15, $20, $30, $60, $75,000 a person for certain types of stimulus items. So don't sit back and use 2020 as a reference point because it's a different administration and it's a different spending habit. That's forced stimulus. Very easy and simple to understand. Now, forced stimulus needs to get to the finish line quicker than sooner because ultimately one of the big concerns is economic recovery. Is the economy growing at a faster rate than we initially thought? The concern is, would jobs be restored by July? Would we fully recovered? No. But what new economic data came in just minutes ago? Does it show that we're on the same path of recovery, a faster rate, or a slower rate? Let's go over all the economic data breaking minutes ago on Wall Street. The new jobless claims came in this morning, and here we go. We actually got worse. Wow. So we actually pulled back on the recovery. The prior week, 540,000 new unemployment claims. This week came in at 553. So we actually are not even recovering at the same rate. We're pulling back. Now, we also had breaking news this morning that could impact any recovery, which is that New York City will be 100% open on July 1st. California has previously announced June is its reopening date. So reopening could signal faster recovery. Also breaking news this morning, third item of breaking news this morning, new home sales came in. Wow, it missed badly. It showed lack of recovery. So Wall Street is expecting home sales to surge 5%. It came in at only 1.9%. Really interesting. And finally, what is going to be used to pay for forced stimulus? It will be the corporate tax rate will increase. Coming up in the second half of this recording, I'm going to go over fifth stimulus, and that will be paid by capital gains taxes change and personal taxes change. Finally, the last economic data, I told you there's a lot of breaking news this morning, is the new GDP number came in. This shows how much growth is in the economy. 6.4%, Wall Street is expecting 6.5%. So that was a miss as well. All good news for purposes of forced stimulus checks. Remember, those monthly stimulus checks, you want them to go out before the economy is recovered. GDP, Unemployment numbers, home sales, none of these numbers showed faster rate of recovery. Some of them showed slower rate of recovery, some was the week before. All good news to get forced stimulus out the door. Remember, this is an add-on that comes from those Democratic House members and those Democratic senators. They write the bill, they add the provisions, not the president. He doesn't write the bill. He only proposes what he wants. Last night was a speech, not a bill. Meantime, what's happening with fifth stimulus and what's happening with the big SSI reform and how much money would you get under fifth stimulus? Also, what other money is in there in the fifth stimulus? And what did the president say last night about fifth stimulus and what did he not? I have all the details of every item in the fifth stimulus coming up in the second half of this recording. But first, big news about third stimulus. So there's a couple things that are hitting just in the last few minutes about third stimulus. First, IRS did confirm that another wave of stimulus checks, yes, I believe this is the seventh wave of stimulus checks of $1,400 from the third stimulus package did just go out. Now, here is what IRS's guidance says, that these are for people who have filed 2020 tax returns, and that IRS is fixing the situation by sending checks to those people. They didn't know they had not gotten checks or didn't know you were eligible for a check. So if you're one of those people who's waiting for a check and had filed a 2020 tax return, oh boy, this is great news for you. Congratulations. Also making news is the child credit. Now, the child credit starts to pay in the month of July. And that child care tax credit is the following: $3,600 for 5 to newborn or $3,000 for 17 to 6. In the last 2 days, there's been a lot of confusion that has been posted online in false news reports, posted online in false YouTube channels. And then I've had a lot of viewers who've reached out to me, said their tax preparers are telling them incorrect information as well. So let me clarify this money for the child and what you need to know. First, the eligibility. The eligibility has only one factor at hand. You made less than $75,000. That is it. So if you're on SSI or SSDI, you get this. If you didn't work, you get this. If you have a child 6 or younger and you didn't work, you get this. So what is the factor that could derail you, prevent you from getting this check? 2 factors. 1, you don't file tax returns. Or 2, IRS doesn't know that child exists. Here's an example. If you don't file tax returns, IRS may not know about you and that relationship to that child. So let's say you're on SSI and SSDI and you've had a child and that child is now 10 years old, but you haven't been filing tax returns. How are they going to know that child exists? They need to see a tax return that shows that child is a dependent and they're 10 years old on your tax return. Number 2, you do file tax returns, but you haven't listed that child. Here's the most common example. You just gave birth to the child during the pandemic. You gave birth last March. The child is now a year old. Congratulations, happy birthday. And the IRS doesn't know that child exists because you haven't been listing that child on the tax return, even though you file tax returns. That's why you wouldn't get a check as well, because they don't know the child exists. So you need to get that in on file. Now, here's some of the other questions I've been getting, which is very, very important to follow. This check is an advance for next year. It sounds weird, and it's a one-time gig, but it's an advance payment for next year. It has nothing to do with the 2020 tax return or the 2020, excuse me, it has nothing to do with the 2020 tax year. It is an advance paid to you ahead of time for next year. So they are paying you, they're not having you wait to 2021 to actually send out the check. They're giving it to you a year ahead of time. And away we go. Coming up in the second half of this recording, I'm going to go over the big information about SSI reform. You're going to be very excited. I'm very excited for you. Meantime, also happening just a few days from now as we go into the month of May, is that the money for rent, utilities, internet, mortgage assistance, homeowners utilities is about to hit in the cities, counties, and states from the third stimulus package. It's now being sent out. So reach out to the volunteers if you need assistance with that. Who are the volunteers? Here's a little bit about them on the community page. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues in just a little bit. The excitement continues on noontime at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's our next show coming up in just 2 hours from now. Noontime follows the show you're watching right now, which is Mornings LALATE. It's a great, irreverent mid-time recording that's easy breezy and gets you up to date on everything that's happening across the financial news space and your stimulus. And then we go into Afternoons LALATE 2 hours after that. Then the second Afternoons LALATE show at 6 p.m., followed by Evenings LALATE at 8 p.m. And then our humor-only broadcast tonight at 10 p.m. LA Late Night. How are you? It's a big day across the board. I'm so excited you have joined us. If you've not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Wow, what a big day it was yesterday. A lot of new subscribers. Welcome to this family. This is the best and most informative and the most accurate and most up-to-date financial news channel with coverage of your stimulus on 24/7. Also, like this video, 3,000 likes. It really helps in the algorithm ranking. And if you've not become a member, consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk Pro Power or Casino VIP. Let's get to the big exciting news about fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus, like fourth stimulus, mirrors almost everything procedurally the same and everything substantively the same. Before the commercial break, I told you that fourth stimulus is a 2-month process that goes by a thing called a reconciliation. The 2-month process does not involve any Republican support. It starts with a procedural bill and then a substantive bill. And with those two bills, when would they start? In September. Fifth stimulus is also called the American Family Plan. And like fourth stimulus, the Democrats put the provisions together. The president doesn't write the bill. They put the SSI reform in there, not him. So what is the SSI reform, SSDI? Let me go over all the details for you, starting right now. It has several provisions. First, they would increase your benefits. Next, they would increase the asset limits. Then they would increase the inflationary benchmark. They would remove the income exclusion and remove the marriage penalty. And let's go over the details on this right now. Very easy breezy to understand. First, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, or SSA, or you're on multiple benefits, they would all be lifted up to a new number. That would be your new number going forward. Second, your number would be tied to a new benchmark called inflation. We learned last year that your benefits only went up 1% because of the old benchmark, while inflation caused consumer goods to go up 20%. The Federal Reserve spoke this week and said the inflationary benchmark will be about 2 to 4% over the next few years. There's some analysts that are thinking inflation could go through the roof. If it does go through the roof, so will your benefits. Then they're going to remove the asset cap. It dates back to 1984. For some of you, you can't keep more than $3,000 on hand because of that asset cap rule. Fourth, they're going to remove the income cap, which dates back to a 1962 law that says you can't work and stay on benefits up to a certain point. They're going to get rid of it. So if you want to work, you can make $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, and still stay on benefits. And finally, if you know what the marriage penalty is and you're suffering the marriage penalty, they're getting rid of it. To which you may ask, when would we physically see this money hit and how would we physically see it? So again, this would go by recon and it would start in the month of September. It would take 2 months and that reconciliation process would finish around October-ish, November-ish, and the first benefit you would see in your bank account in November. All right, so that is the fifth stimulus package for SSI reform. But last night, the President of the United States also told us what else additionally will be in the fifth stimulus package. And let me go over all those details with you right now and make it very easy breezy. First, and all these details, by the way, were first delivered to viewers of this channel who are members. This is why you want to be a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. You got access to this data before the President even announced it to the American people. First, it will include high-quality child care and ensuring families pay only a portion of their income towards child care services. Next, a national comprehensive paid family and medical leave program. Third, free universal preschool for all 3 to 4-year-olds. Next, 2 years of free community college for all students. Then, more Pell's grants. And finally, for the first half of this, a more grant program to increase college retention. All right, so let me go over those details and my opinion and analysis of the situation. The last one, increase in college grants. I'd like a lot more of that money to be spent. If you watched this channel over the last few weeks and knew about the third stimulus package and the $1,700 for college students, people have asked, when are we physically going to get it? That's application-based, so you have to reach out to your college advisor. But this one, I like this, the $62 billion for grant programs for college students. I'd like more of that money. Now, here are the items that I think need modifying. First, free preschool for all 3 to 4-year-olds, and second, free college students for all, free 2 years of community college for all students. I don't know why we're doing that for everyone. So in other words, a billionaire who has a kid who wants to send to community college, we're going to pay for the billionaire to send his kid to community college? Why? And if the billionaire has a 3-year-old, we're going to pay to put that billionaire in free preschool? Why? I'd rather have the two provisions modified that says free preschool for all 3 to 4-year-olds for parents who make $75,000 or less, marry a couple $150,000 or less, just like a stimulus check. And then for free community college, rather than all students, why are we sending billionaires' kids to college? It should be, again, $75,000 or less, marry a couple $150,000 or less. I think they need to modify that. Then let's go over the second half of the provisions. More to give 2 years of subsidized tuition for people whose parent makes $125,000 or less. Okay, I have a problem with that as well. If the parent makes 6 figures, why are we giving the parent money to put that kid through college for free? The parent makes 6 figures. Again, I would drop the income qualification for that. It should be a single parent, 75, or married couple, 150, same as a stimulus check. We shouldn't be giving free money for kids to go to college if the parent makes 6 figures. Single parent makes 6 figures. Next, $45 billion towards child nutritional needs, including expanding summer EBT. I love this, but I'd rather spend more money on this one. This is where I'd rather spend more money. This is SNAP. I've had some wonderful viewers over the last year who never knew about SNAP until this channel. I never knew about SNAP until I launched this channel. Whether it's Jenny or Larry Maui, I had a lot of viewers who learned about SNAP and got on SNAP. What is SNAP? It's free money for food. It's free money for food. And here's why SNAP is so important. If you have that money for food, then you have extra money sitting around that you would have normally spent on food that you can spend on something else that's in need. The car in the driveway has a broken alternator. Now you have money to go get that alternator. Or you have a broken tooth. Now you have money to go get that broken tooth fixed because it's freed up all that expenses on food. Now, the Trump administration has an executive order that increased SNAP for 15% for 6 months. And then the Biden administration added another 6 months. So there's a 15% increase for SNAP for 1 year. PBT, which is for the children, has a 15% increase. I'd rather see the increase carried out more years. I'd rather see more money for SNAP further out. And I'd also see more increased eligibility for the SNAP. That's how I would do it. Then we have more money to make the stimulus packages provisions for low health care insurance continue. So this was on the third stimulus package. I don't cover it too much on this channel. It's the Obamacare premiums lower. Good news for that. And then the last three, which are the most controversial. Let me go through each of them slowly. First, making the earned income tax credit permanent for childless workers. Here again, I like this. I rather spend more money on this. What is this one? For many, many years, over 10 years, there's been a thing called the Earned Income Tax Credit. This is the hazard pay provision. The Earned Income Tax Credit says the following, that if you work as an essential worker and you don't have children, you can get a tax credit on your tax return. What the third stimulus package made law was to increase the number and increase the eligibility. So now it says for 2021, it's $1,504 for 19-year-olds or older who make less than $25,000. They want to make that law permanent. I love it, but I rather make it more money and more eligibility. I rather have it more than $1,500 and more people. So people who make more than $25,000 should get this money as well. This is the hazard pay. More people should be included in this one. Good start, but I rather have it more money. Next, they want to make permanent the child care tax credit. I love this one, but I rather have this one as more money as well. This one is if you have child care costs for one child, it's deductible up to 50% under the third stimulus package law of $5,000. Two or more children, $8,000, up to 50%. I'd rather see the number bigger. If you got 4 kids, why is it only $8,000? You're spending the money. You're spending the money. Why is it not tax deductible? This is a tax deduction provision. You spend money on childcare. Why should you not be able to deduct more of it? Who's it hurting not to make it deductible? It should be a bigger number. If you're spending the money, you should be allowed to deduct it. I like this a lot, but I think it should be bigger. And then comes the most controversial provision. And you know what I'm about to say. This is the expansion of the child tax credit. All right, this is what I talked about early in this recording. This is if you have a child 17 to 6, $3,000 a year, or 5 to newborn, $3,600 a year. Under the approximately $4,000 a year. Let's just make it simple for math. Under the third stimulus package is 1 year. What this provision seeks to do is make it a 6-year rule, meaning $24,000 for that child. I don't like it. I think it's too much money. Now, the Biden, but what I'm personally worried about is what's going on behind the scenes. The Biden administration, well, specifically the president, originally wanted this provision into the fifth stimulus package to be permanent, lifetime, meaning it would be 17 years. You're born all the way up to 17 years, it would be $70,000. His administration pushed back and said, no, you can't do it for that long. So he agreed to 6 years. At the same time he was agreeing to do it for 6 years, the man who is behind doing the reconciliation process in the House, the substantive money part, Richard Neal, the head of Ways and Means Committee, introduced a bill less than 24 hours ago or 48 hours ago that says, no, let's do it for 17 years. Let's pay $70,000. And now he's gotten 6 Democrats behind it. I think it's too much money. And that's my personal opinion. So now let's turn to how this is going to get paid for. Again, let's look at all the details. This will be paid for the following way. Fifth stimulus will be paid for with capital gains taxes and then with personal taxes, both being raised. Fourth stimulus will be paid with corporate taxes across the board. And there you go. It's a big morning. And I'm so excited for you to have joined me. It's been a wonderful day. I want to thank everyone for being so kind and so considerate and having so much fun last night as we watched the president's speech. Remember, here are some of the important things to take away throughout the new day. As a viewer of this channel, you always want to be informed. But if someone doesn't know the answer, help them out. And this is where you need to help them out. If you see someone in the comments write, but Biden didn't say that, explain to them that he doesn't write the law. Explain to him that he wants certain things on the fourth stimulus package, but the Democratic House members and the Democratic senators have already said he wants things in there. We're going to add things to it. They're going to add to the fourth stimulus package the stimulus checks. They've written that. They've already written for the fifth stimulus package, they're going to add to it SSI reform. So if you see someone that jumps in the comments, whether it's a live chat or post on the channel, and says, but he didn't say it, explain to him that's not how it works. A speech is to debut a starting point. What the president wants, he doesn't write the bill. And ultimately, what he wants will be included. But because he doesn't mention something, doesn't mean it's not included. And to make something even clearer, this list that you just heard me go over of what's in the fifth stimulus package, nearly 60% of what is actually from him that he wants in there, he did not even mention last night. So it's just a speech. It's not a bill. Throughout the day, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of information. You saw a lot of breaking news today already. GDP, unemployment numbers, economic numbers, housing starts, a lot of big economic numbers at flux. And I'm keeping you informed around the corner. And I'm so excited for you to join. Also, I really want to thank all the really wonderfully kind, nice comments that viewers dropped in the comments of yesterday's videos. I've been trying to jump more into the actual posted comments with you and interact with you than in recent days. So I really love all your posted comments. Keep that positivity coming. This is the best and most informative and kindest community there is online. So keep that kindness and keep that kindness going forward. I see Laura in the chat. And there's Shirley, and there's Tim. Everyone say hello to Tim. And there's Lynn Glenn. How are you, Lynn? And there's Sharma. And there's Sharon. And there's Peter. Can individual states prevent eligible SNAP recipients from receiving federal SNAP? Peter, with a great question. So SNAP benefits differ state by state. When the federal government increases SNAP 15%, they have to give you a 15% increase. But what their amount is differs state from state. So, for example, Hawaii pays more than, let's say, than Kansas, but they all have to offer that 15% increase. Great question. And there's Sharon and there's Shirley. There's a lot of S's in the room. There's Leanne, and there's Bonnie, and there's Janet, and there's Timothy, and there's Sandy. How are you? It's a big day with a lot of people in the room, and I'm so excited for you. I'll see you back in 2 hours from now. And you're going to see me. I hope you join me. 2 hours from now is noontime LA. Stay informed, stay focused, keep on smiling, keep it positive, and stay with LA for more.